Well, hey, it's good to see you again. My name is Jada Ben, and welcome back to this YouTube channel of mine where I'm going to bring the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about 10 records that I have seen live in full. But first, we are going to start by what is playing in the background just right over there today, and that is going to be the 2024 album from Null, entitled As Spoken, released in 2024 independently, though my particular pressing is a exclusive pressing to Total Dissonance Worship. These guys are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and just have some awesome avant-garde grindcore. We saw a whole bunch of stuff off this album, not quite the full thing. I think we're missing only a track or two. So have a suspicion if we see them again, this may possibly end up on a future edition of this list. But in the meantime, it's going to be playing in the background, just some awesome grindcore, really wholesome individuals. Go and support them, link is down in the description below. Alright, so for this video, we're not necessarily going to be covering albums I've seen start to finish in order. These are going to be sort of all over the place. And for this episode, I'm listing them in chronological order from when I've seen them live, so when the album was completed. I've got 10 of them here. I've got a whole bunch more, so we may do a second episode of this in the future. If you like it, please let me know down in the comments. I always read them. I very much appreciate it. We're going to begin this episode off with a concert that holds a very, very dear place in my heart because it was my very first metal show. And on that show, we saw 2 releases in full. I've got one of them right here, and that is Dream Theater with Images and Words, released in 1992 on Atco Records. On the same exact show, we ended up seeing there A Change of Seasons EP, released in 1995 on East West Records America. I was just able to find the copy of Images and Words. This was actually given to me by my brother, Visual Complexity, for this video, so links to him down in the description. Please give him some support on his Instagram page. He does a bunch of awesome stuff as well. This was witnessed by yours truly on December 1st, 2017 at the Bass Concert Hall in Austin, Texas. We saw both this and A Change of Seasons in order, and to be honest, this is easily just one of my favorite performances of any album, start to finish. Again, this was in order, so you go from, of course, the lead single, Pull Me Under, to tracks like Take the Time, Metropolis Part 1, which when we saw it had an extended drum solo by Mr. Mike Mangini, which was absolutely awesome. And then, of course, the later tracks on the end, such as Learning to Live and Wait for Sleep. I very much have a fond memory of this. I know there is a Lost Not Forgotten Archives issue from that particular tour in Tokyo, so I also own that, but just having this was awesome. I remember they did not play it in the particular tuning they did. I know they tuned down, but to be honest, it was still really cool to see. So, Dream Theater, Images and Words. Next up, this one is going to be kind of an oddball one because I didn't actually see the band that performed this particular album, but this was more of a tribute, but I'm still counting this anyways just because I did end up seeing this record. I'm talking about Death, Leprosy, released in 1988 on Combat Records. The pressing I own is a 2021 reissue on Relapse Records. This was performed by the band Left to Die, which features Matt Harvey and Rick Ross, among a few other... Oh, Terry Butler as well. So, some awesome, musicians on there. It was not performed in order. When I saw it, that was on July 28th of 2022 at Come and Take It Live in Austin, Texas. They were also playing tracks off of Scream Bloody Gore on this very same tour. I believe it was their very first US tour. I know they're working on original material right now, but it was really cool to hear this album performed by not only some of the people that did perform on this record, but also just seeing it live. Not a whole lot of people turned up for that. I had a lot of fun, but I think it would have been cool to see a few more people show up. Favorite tracks on here include the title track, Left to Die, Pull the Plug, of course, absolutely legendary, as well as Primitive Ways and Open Casket. Just an absolutely legendary death metal album. So I figured, why not throw this on the list by showing it off? So, yeah, Death, Leprosy, awesome. Really good record. Okay, following that, we would go just another couple of months. And from one death metal record to another, more of an old school to a more modern approach. I'm talking about 200 Stab Wounds with Slave to the Scalpel, released in 2021 on Maggot Stomp Records. I have the first pressing here from Maggot Stomp Records. It is on a Bone and White merge. We saw them perform this entire album out of order on September 28th, 2022 on their co-headlining tour with Creeping Death at Spider House Ballroom, now the 29th Street Ballroom, in Austin, Texas. My very first time going to that venue, and I think this was probably one of my favorite shows at that venue. Just absolutely diabolical. Once again, out of order, but the one track that I was kind of not expecting to see, Expirated Spatter, did make its way onto the set list. At that point in time, the band was only playing the stuff off the EP, that first album, and released The Stench off the second album. So this was basically the band playing everything that they had ever dropped, including this entire album, which is 9 tracks of just sheer awesome death metal. Favorite tracks: Skin Milk, Toe Rope Around the Throat, Phallic Fill, Drilling Your Head, and Paths to Carnage. We haven't seen these guys since this particular show, which is a damn shame. I very, very much enjoy them, but just haven't had a lot of lineup in the cards there. But this was an awesome, awesome show, and I'm kind of surprised they don't play more off of this record anymore. I guess the new album is taking more of a priority there, but still, really glad I got to see it. 200 Stab Wounds, Slave to the Scalpel. Next particular edition on here was in 2023, when we saw this one. That would be Coheed and Cambria with Good Apollo on Burning Star 4 Volume 2, No World for Tomorrow, released in 2007 on Roadrunner Records. Kind of odd for a label that I'm not super fond of, but either way, Coheed and Cambria is an awesome, awesome band, sort of in that prog rock, prog metal scene, somewhere kind of between the two, little emo stuff mixed in there as well. We caught them playing this album in its entirety, from start to finish, in order, on May 17th, 2023, at the Stubbs Waller Creek Amphitheater in Austin, Texas. This was my introduction into Coheed and Cambria, and this was also the first time we'd ever seen Coheed and Cambria live. So, of course, we were going to go see it, because this is kind of what got me into the band. Tracks like No World for Tomorrow, The Hound of Blood and Rank, Gravemakers and Gunslingers, as well as the entire End Complete series. Just hearing that in its entirety just was a surreal experience. No World for Tomorrow, specifically the title track, was the first song that I kind of had ingrained in my head, so seeing it live was a very, very cathartic experience. I think it's actually probably the closest I've ever shed a tear at a particular concert, just because it meant so much to me back when I discovered it in around 2017. So getting to see it live was absolutely incredible, and yeah, the memories live on. Coheed and Cambria, No World for Tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna kind of step back into the metal scene, and this particular entry on the list is a bit strange considering we didn't see it all on one show. We're talking about 2 shows here in particular that we saw this whole album played on across the span of just over a year. I am talking about Blood Incantation with Hidden History of the Human Race, released in 2019 on Dark Descent Records. We saw this out of order, spanning from May 14th, 2022 at Mohawk in Austin, Texas, to May 22nd, 2023 at Mohawk in Austin, Texas. Kind of funny, we've seen them twice at that venue. The first one was the Oblivion Access Festival, which we saw the songs The Giza Power Plant, Inner Paths to Outer Space, and Awakening from a Dream of Existence. So we saw those, as well as a few other cuts from, I believe, Star Spawn, but that was at the Oblivion Access Festival. Still probably my favorite performance from them, because it was this awesome outdoor, it was night, there was these psychedelic lights. I had the pleasure of talking with the band after we saw them a third time. We'll cover that in a future edition of this list. But I told them about that, and they mentioned that they loved that show so much that they wanted to work with that particular artist again. So fingers crossed it'll happen. We're actually seeing them at Levitation this year, so that's going to be fun. The second time we saw them, we ended up seeing the track Slave Species to the Gods, which ended up finishing that. This particular pressing I have is the 2025 reissue on Dark Descent Records. It was done by Helios Press here in Texas. Easily just one of my favorite releases in the modern death metal scene, and hearing it live in bits and pieces across the span of a year makes this just an awesome, awesome experience across that is Blood Incantation with Hidden History of the Human Race. Spanning forward to June of 2023, we call it the very, very first night of this particular tour. I am talking about Cynic with Focus. Released in 1993 on Road Runner Records. We saw them play this album in its entirety, in order, on June 10th of 2023 at Come and Take It Live in Austin, Texas. Very, very first night of that 30th anniversary tour. This particular edition was, once again, provided to me by my brother Visual Complexity. This is the 2013 reissue on Road Runner Records. So I gave this to him as a birthday gift. I picked it up on Amazon for like $20, which I know this record now fetches about $150. So a very, very interesting little gem in the collection. But of course, seeing this album in full just means a lot, considering that old school death metal vibe that a lot of these modern bands take on. It's really, really cool to see. Favorite tracks on that are Veil of Maya, Sentiment, Textures, and How Could I. It was a very, very fitting tribute, of course, to the members that are no longer with us. Paul Masvidal is still absolutely killing it, and of course it means the world to see this. I know they're still playing this album live very, very sporadically, so if you haven't seen them and seen them play this album in full, I highly recommend that you do so. Cynic with Focus. Alright, we're crossing over, still in 2023, but crossing over to a different time of when I was seeing concerts, because just following the Cynic show, I started bringing some records with me to shows and getting them signed by the band members. There were a few between that show and this next one, but personal favorite of mine being Bellwitch with The Clandestine Gate, released in 2023 on Profound Lore Records, and as you can see in all of its glory, mine is signed. This particular album is only one track, and that is The Clandestine Gate, which clocks in at about 63 minutes. Just absolutely incredible funeral doom. I had the pleasure of talking with the members after the show and just kind of gushing about how much their music means to me. We saw them play this live in its entirety on November 4th, 2023 at the Parish in Austin, Texas. Just an awesome, awesome show across the board. One of my favorite particular moments from this show is the particular tubular bell. When that strikes, I believe it is in the second movement of the piece itself. When that happened live, it was just nothing but sheer goosebumps. I had to comment on it to the drummer after the show, and he was very, very excited to talk about the tubular bell because he said it was his favorite part of the entire kit. It was very, very awesome. I had a blast seeing these guys live. I found out about these guys through Mirror Reaper, so I'm fingers crossed. I have a suspicion maybe we'll see that in the future, but The Clandestine Gate will definitely just have to make up for it. So, Bellwitch, The Clandestine Gate. Closing out at the very, very end of 2023, we made our way back to Stubbs Waller Creek Amphitheater. We saw Coheed the very first time we went, opening for them on that show, as well as headlining the second time we went, and the subject of this next entry, Death Heaven with Sunbather, released in 2013 on Deathwish Records. We saw them play a good chunk of this on the very, very first time, but the second time we saw them was the 10th anniversary tour for Sunbather, where we saw them play this album in its entirety from start to finish. That was on December 16th, 2023 at Stubbs Waller Creek Amphitheater in Austin, Texas. Just an awesome, awesome set. Dreamhouse opening the show. Very, very strange, but still absolutely incredible, because usually it closes. The title track, Vertigo, and my personal favorite on this album, The Pecan Tree. This was a very, very awesome record. Once again, massive thank you to my brother for providing this record for the video itself. We were in the very, very front on the barricade, witnessing the entire thing. We had Touche Amore and Ringo Death Star open for them on that tour. So such an awesome show across the board. We ended up getting the set list from this show, so if I can find a picture of it, I'll put it on the screen. Just an awesome experience. And yeah, one of my favorite sort of black gaze records. Absolutely legendary. I know a lot of people are very 50-50 on it, but hearing it live was just an absolutely incredible experience. Death Heaven, Sunbather. Alright, we got two more. We're going to talk about a particular festival occurrence, because this was actually a lot of fun. And so far, it looks shaping up to be the only time that this festival is occurring. We saw, at Austin Death Fest 2020-2024, we saw Lunar Chamber. This is their EP, Shamholic Vibrations, released in 2023 on 20 Bucks Spin Records. We caught them on their debut performance, April 27th, 2024, where they played this EP in its entirety from start to finish. And as you can see, in all of its glory, mine is signed. I believe I was one of the very, very first people to go up to them at the merch table before the show and get this signed, because this was my favorite EP of 2023. Easily just an incredible release, and getting to see them on their very, very first live performance was nothing short of incredible. Such nice gentlemen. They did not sign this under their stage names. This actually features their current drummer. I believe he goes under the name of Aether Lotus. But he was not in the band officially at the time. He joined the band officially after that, but his signature is on here as well. So this is just a nice little time capsule in record form. Very, very much love it. It's a death metal with sort of that Buddhism kind of lyrical topics. Just absolute heavy. It's like Blood Incantation if they went Buddhist. Such an awesome record. Highly recommend checking it out. Lunar Chamber, Shamholic Vibrations. And for the very, very final entry on this list, we're going to talk about seeing a particular album in full at probably my favorite venue in all of Austin, Texas. The album being Sacramentum with Far Away from the Sun, released in 1996 on Adapocere Records in France. Pardon if I butchered that. I'm Southern. I don't know how to pronounce French. Either way, this particular edition, once again, lent to me by my brother for this video. As you can see in its glory, it is signed by the two members that played on this particular album. We saw them perform this at the Lost Well in Austin, Texas on July 11th, 2024, in order from start to finish, followed by an encore of two songs on the albums following it. Just absolutely incredible. Favorite tracks on here being Fog's Kiss, When Night Surrounds Me, Obsolete Tears, and Darkness Falls for Me. Just an absolutely incredible album. Awesome melodic black metal. We have the Nezi pressing out of China, and it's on this really cool, I got the sticker there, this blue with black splatter edition. Just a really, really cool record. And yeah, getting to chat with these guys after the show was also super, super cool. I'm hoping that their vocalist is a man of his word and that they have more material on the way, because I would very, very much like to come back, for them to come back here and we can see them again. Sacramentum, Far Away from the Sun. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. I've got a few more records that I've seen live in its entirety that were kind of sporadic throughout this particular list. So if you'd like to see me cover those, please let me know down in the comment section below. And if you have any more that you've seen that you would like to share, I'm challenging you to do this video yourself, or leave it down in the comment section down below. I very, very much love to hear and be very, very jealous of all of the records that you have seen live that I can only dream of. With that all being said, stay safe, stay metal, do not submit to tyrants, and I'll see you next time.